Let's go, everybody. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the LA Poker Roundup. Man, I'm excited. It is March 25th, 2025. This is episode 78th. You've got me, your host, Ty Dobberton, my co host, Derek Kwan, and that man in the Commerce Blue. Wait, Dodger Blue, LA Blue. We got Cavin Casino, the newest acquisition by the Commerce Casino here. Man, in the biggest shock to happen in the LA, in the LA. Well, I'm gonna call it a sport. Poker. Some people call it a sport in the poker sports in the LA sports world. Since we got Luka, the Lakers man, but you know what? It's a lot more like Ohtani. This man, he knows he's the man. He knows he's the number one in LA, and he chose to come to Commerce. And we're gonna find out why. Because it's no secret to our listeners that we love and hate and are frustrated and can't wait for Commerce to be great and all of these things at once. So why would someone choose to go in there? Well, we're going to find out. Welcome, Cavin. Thank you for coming back on the show.
Thank you guys both for having me, Derek, Ty. Appreciate it, and of course, LA Poker Roundup community, and just the whole entire Los Angeles and Southern California poker community, and beyond as well, because we do travel as well, the LA funds, and then a lot of people travel to LA. So a lot of love and a lot of appreciation for everybody out there. So thanks for having me on.
Yeah. And you're getting lots of shout outs in the chat. I have a feeling it's going to be a big audience tonight watching live. Everybody wants to know what is on your mind. So why don't we just jump right in, shall we? So first question, or rather setup for the two of you who happened upon this show and aren't quite aware of what happened. The Commerce Casino has gone over a year now from the time that the last tournament director left and the time that Cavin jumped in. Over a year without a official dedicated tournament director or tournament manager. Cavin, I've seen you writing manager. The listing said manager. Which the proper title?
So my official title is tournament manager. I think some people ask questions about that, but I mean, when you're working an actual tournament, obviously we know the Tournament Director Association. You're out there, you're a TD, right? Everybody says TD.
Yep.
When I hear TD, I think of Tony Dorsett. But again, I also know it's tournament director. So yeah, obviously when we're running an event, you're known as a tournament director. And there's just so much that goes into that, right? The floor's out there, tournament director. So obviously those things. But as far as official title goes, it is tournament manager with the Commerce Casino, obviously the world's largest poker room, and all of that goes with it. So yeah, I've taken on the position of manager there, which is oversees the entire tournament department, as well as obviously the day-to-day operations of an event, such like the WSOP Circuit that's coming up.
So the title tournament manager kind of includes tournament director within it.
Yeah, because when you're running an event, that's what you are.
Gotcha.
Does that mean manager has more responsibilities than a director, typically?
Yeah. Well, again, every company has their own hierarchy and their own terminology. In the poker world, tournament director is somebody that oversees a tournament, right, and directs that tournament. So yeah, director could be considered, obviously in the hierarchy, as higher than a manager, right? But that's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about in the poker world what a tournament director is, right? So obviously I'm a tournament director when it comes to that. But my official title, which is obviously higher than that in the hierarchy of the company, is a manager, which oversees that. Which
so for us, so what I'm hearing is for us players, they're effectively the same thing as far as what we can think of you as doing and running over there. You're the TD. It's not the official title, but for us, the nuance is probably not important to us players.
Oh, for the players, no, they're going to be saying, hey, we're the tournament director.
Gotcha.
And then pretty much anybody has a problem, anybody has an issue, anybody has a question, anybody has a ruling, we need a decision. Obviously, they're going to come to me, the staff and all of that. Obviously, I've inherited a great team there. Most everybody obviously knows Hunsky and Daniel, the crew, and all of that. So there's just a great team that I'm joining. So
absolutely. No, absolutely. And without that, we absolutely agree with you. Without that team, there's no way they would have been able to continue functioning for the whole year as they have. But, they really are going to benefit from him around. Now, that was a very long aside. Sorry, guys. But so as I was saying, there was about a little over a year gap where Commerce had no tournament director at all.
It was wild. I forgot it was that long.
Yeah,
It's wild.
over a year because it was the middle of the
Yeah,
LAPC, and
right.
now this happened right at the end of the LAPC. So, and that awesome staff, that great base of people they have there, were able to keep things going for the year. And then the World Series came in and ran 2 circuits, and they took over the TD duties for those events in the last year, and we all covered that here on the show. But just here, right at the end of the LAPC, this massive announcement came out of nowhere. No one thought Cavin was going anywhere. He's, as you all know, he was voted by you guys as the LA's favorite and best tournament director working at the Gardens all previously. And all of a sudden, we get this announcement. This is like, I don't even know. Like I said, I'm not the sports guy. Derek, some more. We mentioned a few, but there's a couple other ones. Like, what is this, like LeBron going somewhere as well? Like when he went to
It was like a
Miami, that
Woj
kind of
bomb.
thing.
It's like a Woj bomb for people who follow basketball. It's just like an announcement from outer space. That was like, what?
Yeah.
What happened? What was that trade?
Yep. So here was the announcement that we all got. Cavin did warn us maybe a half a day before this, but put this up on his Twitter, and just like that, the whole landscape changed. So, Cavin, do you wanna talk about the announcement, how it felt to make this jump, how this change came about, what went into this decision?
Yeah, so obviously I thought long and hard about it. It was one of those things that since coming back from COVID, it's been lots been going on, right? Some properties and entities just all over the world, just whether it's casinos, restaurants, whatever, they just haven't recovered or just not the same, and certain things like that. I can tell you, the number one thing for me has always been the players and the people I work with, like in the trenches, part of my team and stuff. So it was a very heavy heart to make that decision. It was very heartfelt as far as you know the players and those people I work with. Just like in the chat, actually, we I know the chat's going on there. I see Jeremy, Frank. I
Mm-hmm.
mean,
Brad.
there's City, there's Brad. I mean, I mean, there's just a lot of love coming there. Wayne, I think, was in there as well, and so just like the relationships you make with the players over the years and the people and the community and all of that. You guys are well aware of that. You've started your own community, with LA Poker Roundup, and and all of that. So yeah, it was with that. I you know did get an offer from the Commerce Casino, and essentially, like you guys touched on, um, you know, they had a void, so to speak, where they maybe one of my high qualities is leadership, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like my pillars are legendary customer service and hospitality. That's like one of my main pillars. Integrity of the game, right? And leadership, you know what I mean? And then of course, just always being a player. I was a player first, and knowing what the players want, and those kinds of things, and really trying to crush guarantees to get gravies and ice creams, right? We're trying
Gotta
to
get that
help,
cherry on top.
got to get that cherry on top and things like that. So like again, it's about caring about the players, the community, and where you work, and your staff, and everything. And that's one of the things I've always felt about doing tournaments, and why I've loved it so much is all three of us want the same thing. And what I mean by three of us, I mean the players, the casino, and the staff. We all want the same thing, right? We want more players to enter the event and be, because the prize pool's bigger for the players. There's more revenue, obviously, for a casino, and there's a happier and more opportunity for the staff that's working. And so everybody, it's a win-win-win situation, and you don't usually get that when you're talking about businesses and things like that. So and ultimately my decision was made because my vision and the Commerce's vision are aligned. And all the way from the top of the Commerce, the number one goal is customer service, and it is the legendary customer service hospitality that I provide, and they are going all in on that. And whether it's from what you've heard or what they've heard, or all of these things that you've talked about and other people have talked about. When Maria Ho mentioned this, about her experience,
Yep.
they're listening. The Commerce Casino is listening to the players, and they also know what makes the Commerce Casino great. And obviously it has a lot of amenities. The sky's the limit there. It's actually with
Yep.
with the ballroom, with the hotel.
Yeah.
Obviously they have spa, just the world's largest poker room
So
we've talked about.
so
So essentially, the decision was go ahead.
yeah,
Kyle.
no, I was just gonna key off of something you said there. You saying about how they're listening. They are listening, and they do. Their motto also revolves around customer service. So we couldn't help but kind of notice that the timing of this announcement kind of really coincides with a real kind of crescendo of, there's no way to sugarcoat it, I guess, complaints about some things that had been going sloppily and kind of mounting. And really, there was a really large, I don't want to say event, but like I know that when Conrad Simpson from, the Only Freds podcast from Vegas, one of the Vegas players coming in, really raised a big stink about some things that honestly were legitimate concerns, right? There were things we talked about on the show as well, and he was dealing with them head on without any kind of warning, really, and he just blew up. And I know that management did actually come and talk with him. Did any of this, any of what he did, any of what we've been saying, other members, was this kind of putting pressure on them? Was this, was this helping your negotiating stance, man?
I can't speak to any of that. I can't speak on behalf of them for any of
Sure.
that. What I can tell you is, I've obviously built a reputation with the players over the years, and with the staff that I've worked with. And one of the things I've always preached, and I kind of said it here earlier, is you have to care. And if you don't care, you're in the wrong business, right? And players will know if you don't care. I'll know if you don't care. The rest of the staff, and it is a team, and the entire team has to come together on that. So yeah, I can't speak to them on that, but I can tell you, my meetings with them, they are really all in on customer service and making sure that they move. Obviously from the instances you've talked about and other people have, what I'm doing right now is looking forward. So, and what we can accomplish moving forward in that vision. And I'm extremely excited. Well, you can probably tell, but it's just one of those things where I have a really good game plan as far as what I want to accomplish, learning what they want to accomplish. And I think, together with all of it's just a well-rounded team there.
Okay.
And they welcomed me with open arms. I don't want to go off too far because I know you like to keep it short, but
No.
there are some really good stories about how they welcomed me.
Okay,
And
I'd
they
love
have
to hear a couple.
really,
Yeah, go ahead.
so they essentially, the first day I was there, going over some paperwork, this and that, they actually had their employee party, and they had an employee tournament. And
Yeah, we heard
I
all
was the
about that from the winner.
right. So yeah, so it's pretty cool, right? Congratulations, right, to for sure Kevin Taylor on that one. So yeah, he did great on that too. And I obviously I got to meet him that night. Well, I've met him before, but I got to see him that night, and we talked and all of that. And this was kind of like when things were just happening, right? And I was just going there to say hi and meet some people. I got invited. Like, hey, I'm not. I don't even feel like I was, part of the team yet. I was becoming part of the team, but everybody was just so welcoming to me. I mean, I was just, employee after employee was just like, it was just smiles, seeing other people that I've seen in the industry over the years and seeing that they've worked there. So, I mean, they've just really welcomed me with open arms, and it's been so great. And all of the love, like that post that you put up here, I put that out there, didn't tag anybody. I just wanted to put that out there to let people know, right, what was going on. And the amount of love and support I got from the entire community and people over the years, it was just overwhelming. And again, like I said, it was really heartfelt, and it did touch me, and it was just so much love. And so just so appreciative of everybody. And like I said, just excited to start a new chapter in my life, which is what it said there.
Yep.
And
Yeah, this thing has
and
62
We're
comments.
we're all excited to have you, man. Like I think there's the staff definitely did their best over the last year for sure, but there are certain questions where it just felt like a TD was missing, an authoritative person was missing, and you were the perfect person for that, right? Kind of the buck stops here kind of guy. We're not calling up a floor person from like the baccarat tables to make a call or something like that, right? So Cavin is where the buck's gonna stop. But now with your new role, how much autonomy do you feel like you're going to have at the Commerce versus, someplace like the Gardens, right? Are you going to be able to go in there and kind of do your thing? How much, control do you think the executives kind of want to have on your day-to-day decisions?
So the good thing there is the amount of experience and the team and the communication is great, right? And it's, they're going to, obviously, with my expertise, right, it's going to carry some weight of what I think or say. But the good thing is it's a collaboration, right? And we're talking about people that have a lot of experience, a lot of knowledge, and so bringing everything to the table and becoming part of that team, like Ty, you talked about in the opening, the Luka and the Otani thing, like, yeah, Otani comes and he does 50-50 and all of that, but uh, you need that bullpen, right, to shut out the Padres for like 26 or 26 straight innings. Or, I mean, you just need all pieces of the puzzle and all of that. So I think, to answer your question more straight, Derek, on that is, it's essentially almost, handing me the keys to the tournament department, but you're not, it's not like carte blanche, right? So it's like we're not gonna, it's gonna be the most strategic way to get things done, but we know the number one common goal, right, is to make sure we take care of those players and make sure we, of course, I'm going to listen to them and filter out what's good, bad, and we don't just do everything the players want, right?
What?
But
You don't?
you know what I'm saying? No, of course not. I always
Well,
had a saying that the players are the boss, but we run the show, right? In other words, we're nothing without the players, right? But we obviously, you just can't. Players obviously just can't.
Yep. No,
make all
absolutely.
I think just having your voice in that room representing us will be huge,
Yeah.
right? So even if it's not like, entirely just you making all the calls, just having your voice in there. Mark in the chat is basically saying you're the definition of a player first TD, and that's 100% right.
Yeah. No, for sure. We've definitely
like I
had.
said,
We've definitely had a feeling that the people making the decisions just weren't very experienced, knowledgeable, savvy with tournaments, and even if they knew poker, they may not have known poker tournaments. So this is going to be huge, absolutely huge.
Yeah, like I said, there's a really good team there, really knowledgeable, and like I said, our visions, our goals are aligned, and that's where I feel like it's unlimited with them, right? Of what we can accomplish. And I mean, and I know we don't want to get ahead of ourselves, but you guys saw the announcement just a few days ago with the WSOP circuit.
Of course.
3.5 million in guarantees plus $1 million free roll. So it's actually 4.5 million if you had that free roll on it.
Yep.
So, but we'll get to
we will
that
dig
later.
into that. We'll definitely dig into
Yeah,
that
we'll dig into
soon. Now, you've mentioned a couple times that you have big plans. You've got some really specific plans. That Commerce had some plans when you walked in and you loved them. Can you elaborate on some of those? What are your kind of near-term and long-term plans, kind of more specifically about? We know it's going to revolve around improving the player experience, and we know it's going to revolve around training up your folks to deliver better customer service, right? So what specifically can you point at that you are doing right now or that you're going to be doing real soon, and what is in that plan?
So like instantly, the first thing we did is, obviously in the meeting, but the first thing we did is we brought back the Saturday with a 25,000 guarantee. And they had a little bit of that in December, and then of course the LAPC, and then a lot of the most of the events don't have guarantees on them, right? At Commerce.
Yeah, that was weird.
And so the first thing we did was we put the 25K guarantee back up on Saturday from 10,000 guarantee to 25, and we've got the 10K guarantee on Sunday. And the first week we got over 36,000 on the prize pool. Last week we just got over 40,000.
Holy cow! No way.
Yeah, so
Jeez.
So we got over 40,000 on a prize pool last Saturday, and the payouts, I like the payout structure is a little bit more friendly to the men payout and first place, right? The Ricky Bobby payouts, I like to call them, right? You're not first or last. But realistically, you don't play to finish fourth, right? You play to finish first, and you don't pay to min cash. If you bought in for 250, you don't want to make 325, right? So the 250 buy-in, the min payout is at least 500, right? At least double your buy-in. So those are things that I could affect immediately, right away. And that's something that we're looking to grow on that. And then we'll add guarantees as we strategically plan them and other things like that. One other little thing we did right away is just for a player's experience standpoint, is we staggered the tables, right, in the
Oh,
tournament
wow.
section. So like table one, instead of opening table 1 and 2, we opened table 1 and 4, and and so on. So now players have more elbow room, right? Obviously, when we have a jam-packed room, you're gonna open all the tables, right? But if you're only opening 6 to 10 tables, well, you have more room to play with. You don't have to just lump all tables together, and that, of course, is a great player experience, because being able to get in and out of your tables and comfortable, just being comfortable, right, is something. So that's one
Awesome.
little thing we changed right away. One of the great things about Commerce that maybe a lot of players aren't aware of is you can scan a barcode right in the tournament section, and on your phone you get the full menu of food. You can then order the food you want, pay for it, and then they bring it out to you in about 20 to 25 minutes. And you got, from teriyaki salmon to galbi ribs to whatever, right? And then of course we have the big dining tables and stuff. So being able to never leave the game, right? You never have to get up from the game. You can scan the menu, pay for it. They deliver it to you, and then of course our customer service, we're going to make sure that you have tables and drinks and everything else to do that. And so that's just a great feature, obviously, when you're playing in a tournament at the Commerce Casino. So.
Yeah, no, I love it. That just those small touches that you're talking about, like staggering the tables, that make so much difference, and are just those are the kinds of things that we were seeing over the year kind of degrade. Like those kind of decisions just weren't happening, and they were just like this. Why didn't anyone think of this? It was just so simple, right? So we have kind of some specific questions, kind of a little more lightning round style to throw at you. In this kind of
Before
like,
you do that,
oh,
Ty,
sure.
Ty, before you go, do you have a moderator in the chat? Because we need to.
You want clear?
Somebody there named Jeremy Hamey said "Go Yankees." So we need to.
We need to kick him out.
Kick him out of the chat for.
Hold on, let me make Frank
minutes.
a moderator real quick.
Just a couple minutes at least. I'm just joking, Jeremy.
We can just like automate where it blanks out the word anytime somebody.
Yeah, that is
Yankee.
true. We could make Yankee a bad word.
Right. Yep, Vic. Yep, teriyaki salmon is good.
Yep.
Exactly. So just shout out to everybody in the chat again. But go ahead,
Yep.
do your
absolutely
lightning fire round, Ty. Sorry,
so I'll start. No, for
eye.
sure, of course. So we'll start you off with a nice and easy one. I think we know the answer to this, but the rumors are around and people want to know for sure. Action clocks, are they coming to Commerce? Did you get them to buy the iPads? Did you have to bring your own? Are they coming out around the bubble?
Okay, so a lot of questions you're probably going to ask. I can't answer because a lot of things are currently in the works.
Okay,
right?
would you like to bring? Are you going to try to bring them? How about that?
So I can tell you that the action clocks save a lot of time in a tournament. So it reduces the amount of a tournament between 4 to 8%, right? So a daily tournament, it would reduce the time by about 4%, but a bigger tournament with more time and they're used longer, it's going to save about 8%. So like you're going to get less payroll essentially, right?
Yeah.
By having that.
Yep.
So you can imagine where the future is going with that answer.
Gotcha.
Because it's
so the PowerPoint presentation is in work right now, and hopefully.
I would also add.
I would also. What I'm saying. Go ahead, Derek.
I would also add one other metric, which is like player satisfaction,
Yeah,
customer sat, right? CSAT. Every one of these little things that you're doing is going to raise CSAT, and it's going to increase retention, increase people coming. So 100% like include that in the CSAT metric.
And another plus for the action clocks, and I think this isn't universal, but I think this is the vast majority, especially for a bigger event like the 1K and the main event that they just ran LAPC. I think that having those action clocks for the later phases really kind of lends a little bit of a credibility almost. It makes it feel a little more like a big deal. It makes it feel a little cooler. Makes it feel a little more like, hey, I'm more like those guys I'm watching on TV. And I just think that's really cool. And I think bringing that to the dailies lets people practice with that, lets them feel a little more like they're doing what they're doing on TV, that kind of stuff. So I think it adds a little coolness factor too.
Yeah, that's cool to hear that too. And Derek, you hit on it, like the player satisfaction, the fact that it's a better environment because there's no arguing, there's no calling a clock on each other. And dealers, the byproduct of it is actually dealers pay attention more because they follow the action, which means they make less errors, which in turn, of course, makes players happier because dealers making less errors and dealers involved in paying attention and not pushing the pot to the wrong hand that wins, right? But anyway, let's go.
All right. All right. So it sounds like that's
And
a strong probably.
I also want to just drop a note that the chat is absolutely blowing up right now. So thank everyone for joining.
Yep. Absolutely. Yep. And we're joined now by Mr. Gallagher too. So welcome. And then S. Monif. I think everyone else have seen, but yep. Awesome. Derek, do you want to take these back and forth since we got a couple bullet points here?
Yeah. So one problem that I have is the dealers are all facing the stage. So most of the players are facing the snack bar because half the table or more is facing the snack bar, but there's no TVs on that side. End of the night, my neck's kind of getting sore from playing poker, and I got to just keep turning around, look at the clock. So there's some opportunities for us to put some TVs back on that back wall.
Right, so you're talking about in the ballroom and not having enough monitors for the blinds, correct?
Yes.
Specifically the back direction, people facing the back, the half of the room facing the back.
Yeah.
So like I said, a lot of your questions, I think what really the answer is, and I don't mean to just give you the same answer here, but I have a list of things that I think we need to do, and I can tell you that what you're bringing up, Derek, is already on that list. And,
Okay, good.
So
Good
like the action
Yeah.
clocks, the monitors for the blinds, right, for the software, all of that is on the list. And working on everything.
Yeah, I think we're just
Good
looking
enough.
for the answer of if it's on your list or not. Is that something you will push for, whether you can get it or not, or if that's something you disagree with?
Oh, yeah, I'll let you know if I disagree with it.
Yeah,
Sure.
absolutely. Oh, we know that. We know that. So here's another one you won't be able to answer for sure, but if it's something you've been thinking about,
Okay.
with the so for a while the tournament series schedule around LA was pretty static. Then with COVID, it kind of got shook up. It got shook up a little more this last year. Used to be we had the California State Championships here, right? And we used to have the was it the Hold'em series they replaced with the other circuit? So now we have the circuits, and they're so short compared to the previous series. Usually an LA series at Commerce or the Bike is like a month and a half long. Are there plans, or would you like to make those series around the circuits in particular bigger again, or change the tournament schedule up in any way? Is any of that on the plans or in your on your list?
Yeah, so I would say that all of that is yes on the list.
Yeah.
So yes.
Okay.
I would say that the local tournament player community in LA is going to be very happy with the once everything is out there for those that the landscape of the schedule.
Awesome. And then this isn't a question, but my suggestion, looking at the things like, for instance, last year, we thought it was a huge misstep to have like a week and a half, I think, between the end of the circuit and the beginning of the World Series, where there was just nothing. So like in those situations, this year it's only a couple days, but it's still, we end on like a Saturday. There's a Sunday with just nothing. So if people have traveled into LA to play our circuit and play the tournament champions, now they've got a Sunday with nothing, and then the 2 days before the series starts. So for last year, it would have been great to have seen some larger tournaments that aren't circuit, but like, why not have a 3K and then another, have another tournament, try and entice some of those people to play, right? So that was kind of like some of that, just like, not frustration, but like, man, it seemed like a missed opportunity to try and convert some folks there. All right, that's my question. I went on long.
Okay, well, I can tell you that last year it ended like on the 21st, right? And then there was a whole week actually between, because the World Series in Vegas in June in Vegas starts, after Memorial Day, which is that Tuesday, right? And like I said, last year it ended, almost a week before that, right?
A lot of time.
So I can tell you, we're going to go over the schedule later, but this one, like you said, it ends where there's only 2 days. It's only actually Sunday and Mondays, 2 days in between the WSOP, and that's Poker Summer Camp and everything like that. So I'm saying it is closer to what you're looking
much
for.
Better this year for sure.
So so as we're always going to evaluate. Me, I'm always evaluating. So we're talking about the WSOP Circuit event for those of you who are just joining the show here with Ty and Derek on LA Poker Roundup. But it's going to be May 8th through May 24th. So.
All right, I'll throw it back to Derek for the next one.
Yeah. So I think this is one of the probably not something that you can answer right here, but the double verification that they do at the cage for cash buy-ins is something that really annoys a lot of players, but not only from a negative on that CSAT, player sat score, it also probably diminishes the number of reentries because people just don't want to get on that line, especially early in a tournament when the line's too big. And I feel like some people actually have said they don't want to come out and play, and some of them come out like much later. They like almost late reg so that they can skip that line. It feels a little bit like a commerce interpretation because we don't really see this anywhere. I'm not sure if anywhere in the country does this weird double verification. So I'm just wondering if you're taking like risk reward into account, right? Is this like something that they think is reducing, the chance of a money laundering issue by like 25%, for the cost of doing this to players?
So I understand everything you said, but what was the question?
Is there anything that has anyone seriously thought about the trade-off between how annoyed you're making Derek and I and other people who would fire four times but don't? Because I would have fired the housewarming last year probably 5 times, and I fired like 2 or 3 because I saw the line and it was going so slow because of this. I specifically just didn't play the way I usually play for a while, right?
Yeah, the question is can it be removed?
Yeah, okay. That's the real question.
So yeah, that's the question there. So just to start with one is, there's compliance issues, right? So that's the one thing that another thing I guess I could say about the commerce is, they really do follow compliance and rules and take everything serious. Like, one of what I talked about in pre-shift meetings and things like that with my staff is, I have 2 rules, right? And the first rule is follow procedure, which means we have to follow rules. That goes with the integrity and everything, right? Trust and all of that. So you follow procedure. And then the second rule is you can have fun, right? Because we can all have fun if we follow rules. And so what you're talking about is you'd like to fire, you'd like to sign up, and you'd like to not have to wait in line, this and that.
We'd like to not have to wait 2 minutes at the window once I'm in the front of the line after I've paid.
Right. Gotcha. So good news for you guys regarding that, and this would be more of a breaking news, right? Breaking news is we will have we're looking forward to having new policies and procedures in place regarding that. That was one of the first things that I sought out to inquire about.
Don't tease me, Cavin. Don't tease me.
So again, I can't release details regarding that, but I can tell you that the Commerce Casino is going to follow the rules of the Gaming Commission and the compliance and all of that. Mm-hmm. And I can tell you that there will be some changes regarding that and all of that, as long as, like I said, everything it will come out as far as trying to say it the proper way, but essentially good news for you guys, okay? Because there will be
things are in motion.
Some changes regarding that specific that you guys are asking about.
Because moving in the right direction is good. I mean, I'm very familiar with compliance. I've worked in, Ty's also worked in tech, at the scale of Microsoft. So we've had to deal with things like antitrust and all the privacy things that are going on, right? And we constantly are making trade-offs on like how we build the products. If we just follow everything to the law, all our users would leave us, right? Because it would be like impossible to use. So it's just trade-offs. That's all it is.
Yeah, no, I know way too much about rules and bureaucracy. So no, just hearing that you are working on it just makes me feel so much better, Cavin. And we got our fingers crossed that it can get in there. I'm guessing it won't be by this circuit, but just that there's motion in any way at all. Love it. Honestly, that's a better answer than I was expecting. So that's amazing.
Yeah, that is amazing.
It's something I've known that you guys would definitely want to know about. And,
Yep. So we got a question from the chat, Mr. Mark, and this is something that we've been noticing over the last year. So we're hoping this is on your list or something that's you'll already gonna be fixing here, especially during LAPC. The returning player seating and seating arrangements and the info had not been being posted anywhere in a timely fashion. Like, I think that we were only seeing it posted maybe an hour and a half beforehand. And honestly, I think Frank was getting the information and posting it the morning of before the official blogs were. And it was primarily just getting that info from the printouts when we arrived, right? Whereas we're used to, Gardens tournaments that you ran or at the bike, these things are all out usually the night before or, early, like by early morning. I mean, 3 a.m. before that day too. Can we expect changes there?
So yeah, I think what just for make sure everybody understands what you're talking about is when there's a multi-day
Yep.
event, people bag and tag, they make it on to day 2. They want to know their seat assignment, they want to know who's on their table, they want to see the chip stacks,
Yep.
they want to know where they stand with the chip leader and all of that. I can tell you that I'm well aware of, and you guys already know I'm well aware of this, that that's something that is very important to the players, and I will do my best to make sure that is readily available at the earliest convenience for all players that make a day 2.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yep. Awesome. Some of these questions we were already like 99% sure the answer. We just want to make sure everyone hears it coming right from the source, coming right from the man.
We want you to say it to everyone. So we noticed in the last LAPC series there were a ton of bounty tournaments, which is kind of unusual.
Yeah, 50%
like for,
of the
an
majors, right?
Tournament series was kind of nutty, and I think me and Ty and many people are not huge fan of bounty tournaments. So do you know if this is like a one-time thing, specific pattern going forward, or what's going on?
Yeah, I can talk to that, Derek. Real quick in the chat, somebody said there seems to be an audio issue. Somebody else says there's no problems here.
Yep.
And
no,
so maybe you got to refresh.
Yeah,
or something
Vic, I
if you
might
have
refresh.
audio.
I might try refreshing. That seems to help. So
yeah, hit refresh, and then Mark says awesome. I'm assuming he's talking about the day 2 draw stuff.
Yep.
All right. So back, Derek, to your thing. You're talking about the bounties and the XL bounties and this and that, right? And a lot of bounties. Bounties are very popular. Of course, there's mystery bounties, there's knockout bounties, there's these XL bounties, there's these in the money bounties, there's all different kinds, right? Yeah, I mean, moving forward, I think it's just like with anything event, it has its place. I think what you guys are saying that it seemed to be a little saturated with bounties.
yeah, yeah.
And so moving forward, obviously, I can tell you, well, you guys saw the schedule, right, for the WSOP circuit, which we're going to talk about.
Right.
Did you, how many bounties? There's 18 ring events and a bracelet event and some other side events and some other things. How many bounty events did you see in that, Derek?
Yes.
One? None?
I don't think there's any. There's one. Yeah, there it is, right there. There's one XL bounty near the end.
Yeah.
There's one there. So moving forward, again, the team will get together. We'll make the best decision. I think the XL bounties have a place. I think they're exciting. I think they're fun. But I don't think me personally, right, from my read from the public and the poker community, they don't want it every weekend, right? And I think that's kind of what you guys are saying. So,
yeah, it was very strange for all the majors, for 50% of the majors to be some sort of big bounty tournament. Yeah, I mean, I found it strange. I've never seen any series like that.
Okay, so yeah, just in case people are having trouble in the chat, I would say what Ty says, just probably hit the refresh button on your browser or whatever you're watching it on, right? So,
yeah. As long as everybody's not having the problem, then I would try to do the refresh. I haven't seen anyone complain about it since Vic put it up, though. Okay, so I just have one more question from the chat here before we move on to talking about the circuit, and it is a little bit related to the circuit as well because the same thing happened with that. Someone in the chat here, it was let me quick find the name, Matan, was asking about the release of the tournament schedules, right? So the schedules for these things, LAPC this year is the example, came out fairly late. It was pretty late in the game when that schedule popped out, and I know you weren't there yet, but for an event like the LAPC, which is a huge series where it used to be one of the biggest things in poker, really you'd want people to come traveling for it. And for instance, also for this circuit event here with the Tournament of Champions, again, huge event. You want people to be traveling for it. You want them to be marking their calendars. These schedules come out so late. Is there some reason they can't come out earlier? And if, or is it something that you can work on that you can influence to get these things out earlier so people can plan, so people can come out?
Yeah, so I mean, obviously this one we just released about 2 months before, right? The WSOP circuit. Realistically, moving forward, my goal plan, and of course there's a lot of moving parts, right? Of course, you guys are aware of that. So, 3 months or even, more is what we would ideally, I think, is that sweet spot. Of course, if you can go a little further than that, that's great too. But yeah, I mean, I think moving forward, the plan obviously on my end is to have those released. Of course, sometimes it is out of operator's control, whether it's again a lot of moving parts. But yeah, the plan is to make sure that the schedule is out I would say, like I said, more realistic, 3 months, right, before it actually comes out, and then of course, everything else that goes along with that. So yeah, we're on the same page there, and I think ideally, right, in a perfect world, that's what you would have, right? 5 months would be better, right? But again, there's a lot of things, and you got to remember, things do change as far as whether it's trends, this or that, right? Like you can put a schedule out X amount of time ahead, and there's a lot of marketing collateral that goes along with that. But then everybody's like, oh, these mystery bounties, we got to do this, right? Well, we don't have that on our schedule, but like that's the flavor of the month, right? um but yeah, so ideally, I think 3 months is more of a realistic, ideal target for
Okay.
that. So yeah, I hear that from the players. And even like the WSOP, I think main, that one usually comes out earlier than it did this year,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
I think this circuit one specifically needs to be earlier just because people travel
Yeah.
and have to get here like for that one particularly. So yeah, they need to plan for that for sure.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, especially when we're wanting and expecting people, right, to travel
Yeah,
and book and all
Exactly.
that. I mean,
Yep.
hey,
right.
2 months ahead, you can get a good rate still on a plane, right?
Yeah.
That's right.
Right.
It's not that great.
Yep.
So
All right. So we've been talking about and mentioning the circuit a ton. Let's officially move into the circuit. Once again, World Series, the closing circuit of the season, happening at Commerce, starts up in the very beginning. The first event here is on May 8th. Or actually, no. I'm sorry. The first official event is May 9th. We'll talk about May 8th in just a second when I cue you up, hopefully, with this question. So last year, it was the return of the circuits to LA. It was a huge deal, massive announcement. They kicked things off with this big promotion, the Commerce Poker Pro. Really cool free roll hourly promotion thing they did to get people playing in a lot of the events, giving them a lot of seats. Is there anything big happening? Any cool? Are you kicking this thing off with anything like that this time?
again, I can't speak to anything on that because I know things are in the works. The Commerce Casino, like I said, they've done a great job with marketing, right? They've done a great job with these player promotions. I mean, currently they have a $200,000 cash drawings and free rolls like this month alone, right? If you get 50 hours playing live cash games, they're doing $100,000 worth of cash drawings, and they're doing two free rolls, 60,000, guarantee no limit hold'em free roll, and a 40,000 guaranteed limit hold'em free roll, and that's just by playing in the live cash games in the month of March. And you need at least 50 hours, and then of course the more hours you get, the more chips you can get for the free rolls. That's it right there. So that's, I mean, they do a lot of great promotions there, and so obviously you got to pay attention, follow Commerce Casino on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all of those things, because Commerce Casino, basically, like I said, their marketing department, they're just doing a great job in all of the promotions that they're doing. And when any information becomes available from what you're asking, it's going to be on there. So just make sure you follow them. If you're not following them, I mean, obviously, why not, right? But you should be. Everybody already should be following Commerce Casino on all the social platforms, and that's where you're going to get the answers to these questions regarding like those promos and this and that. And I can tell you, they're doing a great job. As you can see, like they're doing this here for this month. They did it last month as well, where they did those free roll drawings for getting hours.
Yep.
And I know, Derek, you don't play cash games as much as you used to, or at all, but it's getting 50 hours, getting in that tournament. A lot of those people in the tournament are cash game players, and you're a tournament player. And we had just under 300 players for that 60,000 free roll, last year,
Wow.
last month.
Wow.
And that's 60,000 right there, right? So
Yeah, Derek
it's,
was actually you gonna be like your final table mate. Derek actually played the final table until 6 a.m. if you remember. And the
I
guy
couldn't
who got
believe that.
the guy who got second came to your free roll and final table did as
Yeah,
well.
I saw a picture of it on like one of the social media sites, and I was like, "What? Are you kidding?" Like I couldn't even like think straight. That was crazy.
Yeah, he came over and final tabled that event you're talking about that they ran.
Yeah,
All right, so
unbelievable.
it sounds like what I'm hearing is the answer to my question is yes. Keep your eyes open for the April announcements of the promo. Something big's happening, probably related to the circuit. Keep your eyes out, especially you cash grinders. So that is cool. That's exciting to hear. I think Derek had another question as well before we just kind of look at the schedule and let you go at it and just hype it up.
Yeah. So obviously the WSOP circuit is a huge opportunity to get new players, to the commerce, right? Um, what things Actually, I know we're talking about going forward, so not what's happened in the past, but what things are you going to do or are you going to try to implement to make sure that we can get some of these players to keep coming back, right? We want to be able to see perhaps 10, 20% uplift on all commerce series after a WSOP series because we've won over these players and made them come back. So what things do you think you're going to try to do maybe a little bit differently to attract some of these players back?
So I apologize, Derek, because I had a message here, so I was
No
doing
worries.
that. Essentially, what am I going to do different for? Just repeat the first part of it because I got the
So
end.
basically, WSOBC is going to bring so many new players, like it
Right.
just did,
Mhm.
it does every single year, right? That we've done this. Um, but it doesn't really seem like many of these players come back to the Commerce for other series, right? So we would hope to see maybe a 10 or 20% like sustained uplift, right? Because like this is a huge opportunity to have WSOP here. So
Got it.
what things do you think you're going to try to implement to get some of these players to come back?
Well, again, I think two things to really get them back, right? And one is having the huge guarantees, right?
Yeah.
Having something worthwhile to come back to, and the other one, which is you know equally as or might be more important, is that customer service I keep talking about.
Yeah.
Because when they do come and it's their first time or they haven't come in a few years, but they qualified for the TOC, or like you said, oh, this is a huge guarantee. I'm going to come out and check it out. And then for them to have that great experience at the Commerce Casino and that customer service, that's what's going to really make them want to come back more. And then, of course, they're going to say, hey, man, I had such a great experience at Commerce this time. They've really, they're really taking care of people. They're really doing this. They really get it. And then, oh, they got this guarantee coming up. Oh, you know what? I'm now going to be more likely to come back to the Commerce Casino for that. So that's how I would answer that question because that's the plan, right?
Yep.
That's what we're looking. That's what we're striving to do. And
And it actually
again,
goes back to what we're talking about with the tournament schedules. Like if you can, not maybe in an entire next tournament schedule, but if you're like, we're going to have a $1 million guaranteed in the next series, that's going to be a month and a half from now, right? I think those are the type of things at the end of this series when those players are still there that will get them excited to come
Yeah.
back.
Yeah. No, and
yeah,
I
and like,
love that answer, Kevin. I love your answer because a lot of people would have come up with something like, "Oh, we're gonna, send them a discount for the next thing, or send them a promo for this or that, or get their email address and bomb them with." It's like, no, that answer shows real understanding of the what's really important, right? And it shows the willingness to put in the work over time and to really earn players' trust, right? Not trying to come up with some kind of gimmick, not trying to buy their business, right? To just actually give them what they care about. And what I'm hearing is, to me, what sounds like the game plan of all the places that everyone says are the best places to play, right? When people talk about the Win, that's what they say. They say it's the best place to play in Vegas because it is the best run room. It is where they feel the safest playing. It's where they feel the most protected playing. It's where things run the smoothest. It's where they have the best guarantees. All these things, right? No one says it's because, it's a common thing in my group chats to complain about parking in Vegas, right? Wynn doesn't give you free parking. Wynn doesn't discount their hotels room much for their series, but man, everyone wants to go there to play because it is
Sure.
the best
Yeah.
experience, right? So I love that
Yeah.
answer. I love that answer.
Yeah.
All right. Um, let's jump into the schedule. I'm going to bring the schedule up on the screen. So for everyone who hasn't seen it yet or who didn't know, the full schedule is announced. It's both on the World Series Circuit website and it's also on Commerce's website now. They do not have the really slick PDF out yet, but they do have it here. And let me click on these structures. Sometimes these don't work. Okay, so the structures are not up yet, but the
no, but the full schedule
Yep,
is
but
up
the full
online.
schedule is up here. So can't help but notice you're bringing back some that you do this in a lot of the series for when you ran it at the gardens, but you would run these kind of full package satellites, and we're kicking off with those.
So we're calling it the tune-up, right? So you have the housewarming, which is event number one, the first ring event. But the day before the housewarming, we have the tune-up, right? And so basically for all of the recreational players or players coming in, who doesn't want to get into these events for cheap, right? So 300 buy-in, and it's a mega satellite landmark, right, and everything. and which milestone landmark, right?
Is it the mystery
but we're
bounty that you do,
guaranteeing-
or is it the landmark reverse shootout, or is it the landmark just regular satellite at the end?
So structures will be available soon.
Okay, still figuring
on
that out.
Okay. And but the good thing is we're guaranteeing 5 series packages at 11 and 5 at 4. So basically we're guaranteeing at least 10 packages, and it's a 300 buy-in. And if you win that mega satellite, you get 3 vouchers. You get a 400 voucher, a 600 voucher, and a main event voucher, which is 1,700. So essentially, that can get you into the housewarming, which is a 500,000 guarantee. Get you into the monster stack, which is a 200,000 guarantee, and to get you into the main event, which is a 2 million guarantee. So for $300, you can get into over 2.5 million in guarantees with the tune-up. So you just come in on a Thursday, 11 o'clock, and of course some people got to work. Like you guys can come in at the 4 o'clock session. We're guaranteeing that, and it's for all of our local players, all of our rec players, and all the players coming in that are obviously just looking to get in for obviously less. But the great thing about that is you can use your 400 voucher for any 400 event on the schedule. You can use your 600 voucher for any 600 on there, and we have all these guarantees, over 3.5 million in guarantees. And then of course the 1,700 voucher is only good for the main event, but there's 3 starting flights, so you can pick which one of theirs. And I mean, to my understanding, this is the biggest guarantee at any WSOP circuit event. They usually guarantee 1 million for the main events.
I think this one, and does Charlotte maybe do 2 million, or did they do 1.5? I know that last year I was trying to see if we were going to beat what's the casino's name in Charlotte? Cherokee. If not Charlotte, Cherokee. Because they are typically the largest World Series circuit main, I believe, and I think we came very close to beating them, and I'm not sure if we beat them or not last year, but it was right there, which was really impressive. So it is, if it's not the highest, it is tied for the highest for sure. I know that you bring up the main. I did have a question about the main. I think last year in May, the main event had a slightly different setup. I think we had Derek, do you remember, was the day 2 for the main last year on Sunday? Because this year the day 2 is on Monday, and last year, did we have 4 starting flights, or did we just have these 3? Someone told me they thought we had 4 last year. I don't know if you know the answer to these questions, Cavin, but
yeah. Go ahead, Derek. I do know. There was 3 starting flights, and day 2 was on the Sunday, which I understand that's ideal.
Yep.
Right. Again, a lot of moving parts here, and one of the big things they talked about, like you would, other people talk about when the schedule came out, is the Tournament of Champions.
Yep.
Right.
It moved. It moved. It moved to smack dab in the middle, which caused a lot of questions, right? So we have all those questions too.
Yeah, so just to get ahead of that on that, so usually the Tournament Champions is at the end of the series, and of course, you get all the people that come out for that qualified for that. But I think the biggest move of why it was strategically moved there is because this way, all of the people that qualified for the $1 million free roll, right? And it is a free roll. I mean, the $1 million put up by the World Series of Poker for all the qualifiers of the ring events and the bracelet events throughout the years and all of that. This gives them an opportunity to actually come out for that TOC and also be able to play in the main event. And this main event is like I said, it's a 2 million guarantee. So you can actually play in the TOC and win, play all 3 days of it, win the TOC, and you can still get into the main event. You can play on day, 1C of the main event. So strategically planning it that way, I believe is it optimizes the players that are coming out for the TOC to be able to play in a $2 million. So they can play for basically 3 million, right?
I guess you could do that if you put the main after the TOC, or before the TOC.
That's how it was last year, right? The second the main event was finished, I think maybe like the final table of the main event kind of overlapped with the first day 1 for the TOC. I think was how it was last year.
Yeah, something like that.
So I can just say, like I said, it's not a one person making a decision or whatever. So it's on that, and I know ideally, how we would like to structure a day 2 on a Sunday, this, that, but this is a 1,700 buy-in main event, and it is a 2 million guarantee.
Yep.
It's obviously a ring event.
Sure.
and all of that. So, and again, it's not out 3 months ahead of time, but it's out roughly about 2 months ahead, before.
A month and a
And
half, but no, 2 months before the main and the TOC. 2 months before the TOC, I'll give you
right,
that.
yeah, it did, on that, and of course, everybody would like to have had it sooner, and as I would, and everybody here in the chat, I'm sure, and everything. So, but yeah, I mean, when you look at the schedule itself, there's we're also bringing back single table satellites, right? So those are going to be running every day, and those will for $200, single table satellite, you can win your seat into the 2 million main
So,
event, right? Like,
yep.
sign me up for that one, right?
Yeah.
I can't play it. I'm going to be working it, but you guys will be playing those.
So yeah, and with the Monday day 2 is less optimal for a lot of people, but for me, if you're gonna have one of the events, have a Monday day 2, make it the biggest event, make it a huge event, which this is. So I'm more forgiving of that personally. I will say I was a little surprised just because last year they crushed the guarantees still, even with it having that schedule. Now that means I would expect this year for them to do even better, just because now you have a Sunday day 2. So guys, if you can afford this, you can get in on that. If you can get in on those satellites, make sure you're there. It's going to be huge. Last year, what was the prize flush? Like 2.6, it was big. It's going to be even bigger.
It was over 2.2 million last year.
2.2, so like 2.2, almost 2.3. This year it could be like 2.6 easily, just because it's another Sunday flight. But I guess I have one other question about the schedule. Is I also found that, well, not question, I guess observation. I found that interesting because looking at the World Series schedule itself, and I know that the World Series has a big influence, I believe, on this schedule, giving it to Commerce like that and helping them with it. They look like they had actually moved away from those Monday day 2s, because last year they had moved the day 2 of a lot of their majors to Monday, and this year now they've moved those day 2s back to Sunday and added an additional flight. So it was very interesting to me to see the World Series itself kind of go back to a Sunday day 2, which actually is going to make me go up for more weekends than I was going to go up, because I did not do that last year.
I think they probably learned from last year.
Yeah.
Like the kind of weird effect that had.
But then to see this main do that, so that was, I don't know, just an observation. It was that was strange to me. It didn't quite jive. But the question,
but I think,
go ahead.
But I mean, basically, if Cavin, if you're on the same page as us, I think that obviously day 2s on Sundays are better for working people, and working people are going to be the majority of prize pools. That's something that you'll most likely push for, within the committee at the Commerce in future tournament series.
Yep. So we have faith in you, Cavin, that you'll be looking out for all of our best interests in that way, and that obviously you came in late to the game. You had no influence over this schedule. You had no influence over when things were going to, how this all laid out. You're just you were given it, and luckily this is a pretty darn good schedule. But for an actual question, with the TOC in the center of it, it kind of begs the question, what is the cutoff date then? Because when it was after the series, it was very easy. Everything in this year's circuit series was for this TOC. Now, for the local events, it would make sense if every tournament that finishes before that start, okay, those count. But there are 2 other circuits that are overlapping this one, really. I mean, like, is that... So Harris Cherokee will be happening, and it doesn't end until May 12th. And then Caesars Southern Indiana is happening during the exact same dates, May 8th through May 19th, while the Commerce is going on. So is it kind of a universal World Series cutoff date to qualify for the Tournament Champions, or does this LA circuit have a different cutoff date than those? Do you know any of that information? Because I haven't really seen that spelled out.
So that's going to be it sounds like that's going to be a question more for WSOP and all of that. Obviously, I think some of those things are still being decided. So
okay.
I mean, as far as that, like I said, if you what I can say from what I understand right now is, obviously if you win an event before the TOC, right?
Right. If you win the event the night before,
then you're going to be able to,
should be
you're going to be able to play in the TOC.
Yep.
So,
Okay.
And again, those go through any bracelet events, any WSOP Europe, any WSOP Paradise in the Bahamas, any online bracelets that you won on WSOP or GG, right? And then of course anything you win in Vegas, those bracelet events, and any circuit event, live circuit events that you won at Commerce or the other venues.
Yeah. So logically, it seems for all purposes then, of course, if I win the main event after the TOC, I'm in for the following year, probably. That would make sense. Okay, so obviously, like I said, it's not none of this was up to you. You had no say in this. It's just we were hoping that you had learned something. So I'll next week when you're off the show, I'll complain about the World Series not having that date or not having that information tied down now, because now we're not 2 months away from it, right? Now it's tougher. So, but no, thanks. We were just hoping you had heard something.
Yeah, one thing, it's a way of you can ask questions without complaining, right?
Yep.
And I think that's always a nice thing to do too, like we're doing right now, right?
Yep.
And like I said, a lot of the things that the schedule, yeah, a lot of things were locked in, and obviously some that the team we could kind of adjust here and there. And so, like I said, what we've done here is we've added a lot more 1 days and a lot more guarantees, right? To where, again, if you look at the schedule there, it's it's about I want to say about 12 of the 12 or so of the ring events are 1 day events, right? And that's really good. And of course, the housewarming, it does fall on your ideal strategy of Friday,
Yep.
Saturday, and day 2 on a Sunday. And then of course, like I said, we've got some of these other events, but these mega satellites in the evenings, and we even have some in the morning to where you can get into this main event, right, for 250. We even have a step satellite down below to get into the main event in Vegas, right? If you want to get into the $10,000 main event in Vegas in July, we have a step satellite, which it starts off at 150. You can buy in for 150, and we're guaranteeing seats to get into the next step, which is an 1100 buy-in, and then we're guaranteeing seats to get into the main event in Vegas. So for as little as 150, right, the recreational players, right, the ones that play in the dailies, like the 130 buy-ins and the 250 buy-ins, they can get in on all of these. I mean, we have these nightly megas, and then we, like I said, then we even have megas to the high roller one here, which is a 2200 buy-in. But yeah, for as little as 150, 200, 300 type of stuff, right? We've got all these megas for you, and get you into over 3.5 million in guarantees. So
Yep, I'm seeing that right here. That's on Wednesday, the $150 step satellite. Also
yeah,
Thursday,
Yep.
same thing. And those will get you into the step 2, which happens on Thursday night, it looks like.
Yes.
Yep,
Yep, and that's
awesome.
1100 buy-in.
Love it.
And we're guaranteeing, like I said, 2 main event seats. So that's that's pretty good. And the day before, we're guaranteeing 2. So we're guaranteeing a total of 4 main event seats there. And again, that's the dream there, right? And then if you look at the last event, which is the double stack closer,
Yeah.
it's on a Saturday, Memorial Day weekend, 400 buy-in, 100,000 guarantee. We're obviously looking to get plenty of gravy, and that one we're looking to get the ice cream with the cherry on top, right? So
Man, this one's on Memorial Day.
it's Memorial Day weekend.
Memorial
Yep,
Day weekend's very special to me, Cavin. You and I go way back on that day.
I am aware of that. Yes.
I'm
So,
very
I can
disappointed
see it.
that you're not running
I
a
can
big
see,
multi-day event on Memorial Day weekend, Kevin.
I can see the trophy behind you there. So there it is.
But this one will do. I have a feeling this is gonna absolutely smash. It's gonna absolutely smash. I mean, they've been getting massive fields for the other events that are like this, and this one being a ring event, this is gonna be insane. This is gonna be insane.
I'm a little disappointed I didn't get a trophy at the Gardens while you were still there, Kevin. I guess it's not going to happen.
But you got your first Remington this year,
I
right?
did. I did.
You're off the list of best players without a Remington.
Thank you.
Now you're one of the best players with a Remington. See,
Thank
so
you.
that
I think he also probably broke the record this year for most bullets fired into Hold'em events to get a Remington. I don't know. He was, but no, well deserved.
I was firing a lot for sure.
All that experience paid off. He just started ripping off everything, man. Yep. So yeah, I know. Looking. Oh, good.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was just gonna go back to the schedule. Go ahead if you had something else.
No, I was just saying, it's glory, right? Once you win that Remington, it's forever, right? So it's like,
Yep.
when the Dodgers win the championship last year, right? It's forever, right? Just any of these things. That's why those trophies mean a lot to the players.
Yep.
And all of that, and especially flagship one like the LAPC, right? The Commerce.
Mm-hmm.
It's been going on for so long, 25 years, and Remington is one of those sought after things, So
Yeah.
and I love seeing it behind you guys. You guys each have one there.
Gonna get his first ring, or I'm gonna get my second ring first. Which one? Which one's gonna happen first? We should have a poll.
Oh geez, yeah, and sorry about that, guys. I clicked the wrong button there. I hope we didn't. I hope I didn't cut out the audio on you. Derek's finally gets to kneel me back now that he has his Remington. He wants. We could go for that. The only problem is you get to you get more teleworking ability than I do, so you get to fire more often.
This is true.
So we might have to come up with a schedule, and we can get a side bet down. All right, let's go. Let's go back to your schedule though. I am personally, just like that other event we were referring to, I am very partial to $600 500K guarantee tournaments, and this one that's gonna kick off this series, gonna be a banger. Last year in May, Christina Gollins, who just got chopped four ways over at the bike, won this thing here. So hopefully someone else can take it so that she doesn't just keep coming back from Vegas and taking all our money.
She just shows up here and she has like a 90% like final table rate. It's crazy.
I know, it's insane. She's gonna never want to leave. I mean, she's gonna wonder why she ever left, I guess. But these satellites, these package satellites that you just kind of introduced on Thursday, they really got me tempted to try and take off early and come down and play one of these things. I love these things. Love those packages. Love the landmarks. Super fun. But this opener, it's gonna be huge. Last year, I forgot did it get to like 800 and something? It smashed the guarantees again. Once again, I didn't actually bag this thing, and I really think a lot of it was because I just was playing so conservative type because that line was so long. I did not want to get back in it. I just wasn't I think I fired like 2 or 3 bullets total in this thing, which is unlike me. If I didn't bag and I only fired 3 times, I must not have been trying, So this year though, looking forward to it. This could be fantastic. What are you looking forward to on the schedule here, Derek? Obviously the main, of course. Yeah. That's of course, but
Yeah, the main's the big one that kind of stands out to me, and I really I'm actually pretty excited for the housewarming event. I think it's going to be a pretty big one too. Always kind of like the opening ones, super. Yeah, it's kind of like the energy of having WSOP seed. It's just like the very first like event and everything. I just love playing that.
Yep, for sure. I'm curious how many of like how hard are you going to grind to get that ring to get into the TOC, Derek? Because I want to take off a bunch of weekdays to play these other events, but I know I'm just not going to. Like, are you going to be there, like, with your laptop working all morning and then playing every single ring event until that TOC? What are you going to do?
So usually what happens, it really depends on the late reg, because usually what I can typically get away with is just trying to get as much work done before, like, roughly the late reg is over. And then when you see me in the laptop, I'm just kind of wrapping up emails for the day while I'm playing. So I'm going to definitely try to pull some of that if I can. But yeah, I'm going to be firing this obviously more than I'm firing the other tournaments right now, because most of the other series right now I'm not really showing up until at least Friday.
Gotcha. So Cavin, what should people really look out for on the schedule? Is there anything you're particularly looking forward to, or something that you're that you really want to point out on here?
Well, it's funny because like you guys are excited about things that I'm excited about, right? And that's kind of it's fun, right? Because when we put these together, and like I said, it's a team putting it together, but obviously I put some of my a little bit on there, and so like when we look at the tune-up, like to me that's like to be able to have that the day before, right? Like to be able to get in and get that, and then I could be set up for the whole series because I've got. Yeah. Like I said, I get to play in the housewarming, I get to play in the monster stack if I want, and then of course I'm in the main, and then obviously with that, and yeah, so I'm kind of excited about that. Obviously the housewarming is gonna, like you said, it's gonna be huge, and so many people, obviously the plan is for everybody to be coming in and traveling, and all of the locals coming in and playing as well, and so. I just love the fact that we're gonna kick it off with the satellites, and that we're bringing back the single table satellites to give a lot of people that opportunity to get in.
Those are extremely popular around LA for sure.
Yeah, and then like I said, what is different this year from last year also is that a lot of the other ring events are being one day with guarantees, right? And so, whether it's a 50,000 guarantee or a 30,000 guarantee or a 100K guarantee one day, right? Because we have a few of those, throughout there, and it's so it's pretty nice on that. And then we added basically some pot limit Omaha PLO 8, and then the Taurus. Everybody's familiar with Taurus kind of being that new, it's not new, but it's kind of like.
Yep, replacing Limit Hold'em with triple draw, right? If I played mixed
Right.
games, I would be real excited about that.
Yeah, so we have the horse in the first half of the schedule, but then in the second half we've actually 3 days in a row. There's a PLO 8, and then there's a Taurus, which is instead of limit hold'em, there's triple draw, right? So it's still it's a mixed game. It's all of that, and they're all ring events, so they all mean something. We even have one I do like is the obviously the high roller one. It's an 8 max, which is a 2,200 buy-in, 100K guarantee, and that's a 2-day event. But we talked a little bit about the bounties, and one of the things, like you said, like Commerce does, is that little XL bounty, right? So it's this is a $600 buy-in, 50K guarantee. It's a 1-day event, but it's a ring event, and once you get in the money, you knock somebody out, it's $1,000, right? So like you buy in for 600. You're playing for a ring, the glory, big money, and then once you get into the money, you knock anybody out. It's not a mystery where you don't know what it's going to be, right? It's every knockout is 1,000, right? So
Yeah.
you knock Ty out. Oh, I guess I'm playing in the mega satellite to try to get my main event seat now, right?
Right.
I just got to put in an extra 100, right? It's 1,100 buying mega. So that's great. We even have a tag team event at the towards the end on Friday, May 23rd. We've got that. We've got.
Oh, it's on a Friday. Maybe Derek and I will actually get to play a tag team event for the first time.
Yeah.
If
So
we
the cool thing
feel
with
like
that
it.
is,
Oh man.
yeah,
I'm in.
right?
I'm in, buddy.
It's not a ring, but
And
we can do it. Yeah, we can do it and make it fun.
yeah, and it's strategically placed on a Friday night, right, when people can actually get out. Like anybody playing in the the 50K guarantee Friday day, it's a 600 buy-in, right? And that's an 8 max.
Yeah, 8 max.
So
That's awesome.
And it's a 1-day ring event, but of course, that evening, if you bust out or if you couldn't make it for whatever reason, right, then you can still make the night. And then again, we're playing for big money. We uphold the integrity of the game and all that, but we also want to have fun, right? And nothing says fun like tag team event, right? Like
this Friday, I hadn't noticed the schedule, Cavin, but I'm glad you pointed this Friday out. I'm actually really excited about this Friday now. This is really, especially after the weekend of having the main and then getting ready and waiting for the World Series the following week. This seems like a great kind of fun weekend. This is going to be great. An 8 max,
such a great
cheaper 8 max, and a tag team.
Yeah, it's such a great price point for a 1-day too, because all my complaints about 1 day is you're going to keep out the riffraff with the $600 price point. So this is going to be a good tournament.
Just to have an 8 max, like every single time they do a 6-handed or an 8-handed, and even the tag teams, the LAPC tag team was on a Tuesday, right? Like and it had like nobody in it. Jeremy was there, right? He's like, Reg started. There's 3 teams. We're waiting, and it's like, come on, a tag team event on a Tuesday, the hardest event to get people. You have to coordinate with people. The event, as you pointed out, one of the 2 people is most likely going to be much more casual than the other person if it's going to be a fun event. So like, what are you doing on a Tuesday? This is awesome, Cavin. I love it.
Yeah, so I mean, we're looking to have fun with that one on that, and then like I said, the closer, it's just going to be we're thinking and we're hoping, obviously, it's going to be insane in such a great
that could
way
easily double that. That could easily double that guarantee, I think.
For entertainment purposes only, right? The over under is 200,000.
I think it's because here's the other thing is the events like this that have been run in town, they're not ring events, and they tend to give you way too many chips. I'm assuming this one, you don't have the structure out yet, but I'm assuming this one's going to be like 30K in chips or something, because circuit events tend to start you with fewer chips than LA players are used to, which means we actually can bust early. Like, I just played one the other weekend. You start with 50K in chips. It's like, no matter how crazy I play, I can't bust for hours. If I start with 30K or 25K in chips, I'm being there a couple times, and it's not going to be just me. So this thing could easily, I think 200K is a great line.
Yep, and that's for entertainment purposes only again.
Right, that's not a guarantee. That is LA Poker Roundup prediction too. That's where I would set the line, because being for a ring, I mean, we're going to blast hard. We're going to blast hard.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of blasting.
Awesome.
So I'm just looking, like I said, when you look at the schedule, and if you go by just each day, I mean, there's just an opportunity for everybody, from whatever bankroll you might have, right? Whether the 150, the 200 buy-ins, and with these megas and single tables, 200 to 250, and then of course just having those ring events at 400, 600, those sweet price points, and having guarantees on pretty much almost every event there. Like I said, it's when you add it up, it's over 3.5 million, and that does not include the TOC,
Right.
the Tournament of Champions, the 1 million free roll. So really, it's over 4.5 million, right, total, that's out there on
Yeah,
there.
I don't know.
So
I don't know why they didn't use the 4.5 number. I mean, it's totally fair to include the TOC in that.
well, I mean, it's not everybody can just buy into it. I think, and again,
Oh, I see. I see.
there's no
Yeah,
smoke
that's
and
true.
mirror. We're not trying to,
That's true.
switch to,
Yeah,
get
that's walled
the
off
ad
from most
card,
people, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
you
that's
know,
true.
Cool.
bait and switch or anything like that. And it stayed there. And the cool thing about it is, yeah, it's 18 championship ring events, right? And one bracelet, right? Because that TOC you actually get a bracelet for. So, and of course, giving a bracelet out in Los Angeles is pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
It is.
All right. So we are almost out of questions. I just have one. I'm going to give you one last topic here. So when that TOC was announced last year, it was announced really late. It was a huge surprise. It was actually somewhat of a rug pull last year because people, I mean, honestly, they had material out. They had advertising out at some point saying it would be in Vegas, saying see you in Vegas. So people were really hurt. This year, it should not have been as big a surprise to people. It was announced kind of late, but some people still had something to say about it. A lot of the LA circuit regs had some comments, and for the most part, they were still disbelieving, still shaking their heads. So I just kind of give you a chance to give your pitch. Try and for those who are still unsure about LA, what do you say to them? Try and convince them that this is where it should be. This is the right place, and you're gonna have a great time when you come here.
Well, again, I'm going to reiterate what we've talked about earlier. I mean, it's, the Commerce Casino is the largest poker room when you look at the amount of cash games run and all the other table games, and I mean the full facilities that it has to offer. And again, we're going to do our part in putting on the best show, right? And providing the best service. And we're providing, obviously with the World Series of Poker and the Commerce and the team all together, putting the best structures and championship events for them. And it might not be ideal for people, certain people, right? But last I checked, coming to Los Angeles, right there, the weather is going to be great, right? For the most part. Obviously, we have a lot of other things. I mean, the food, right, in general, right? All the different kinds of foods, walks of life, and all of that. But I mean, when you're talking about a year-round poker paradise, I mean, the Commerce Casino offers that. So I mean, it's just action, right? So and then of course with Bally's live, with the live streaming that they do, live at the Commerce. I mean, they're putting on great shows. They're putting on those live streams and all of that. And of course, as you know, one of your questions, I'll just answer it for you. Obviously, Tournament of Champions, main event, we're going to be live streaming these final tables and things like that. So that just all of those things that are going to be. Go ahead, you had a question in there.
Just last year, they set up a huge stage, amazing production, whole new set. Are they going to be doing that again? Do you know, or will be using Bally Live to do the streaming like they did for the LAPC? Do you know?
Yeah, so again, that's one of those questions that we'll have to wait and see.
Okay, so we do not know yet.
Yeah.
Maybe Wayne knows. In the
Yeah,
chat.
we'll ask Wayne if he has any tea to spill on that. All right.
But Wayne's doing a great job there. Well, you guys know.
Yep.
I mean, they, just definitely make sure you follow them as well on all the socials and watch the shows. They're doing a great job. Obviously, you got Phil Locke, you got a lot of other guys in there, doing the commentating and all of that. So yeah, I mean, obviously Aaron, which you guys probably know, playing a lot.
Yeah, he's been killing it.
He's been doing his thing. So shout out to everybody over there at live at the Commerce, with Bally's. That they're doing a great job. And like I said, it's they've really welcomed me with open arms there. I felt so much love. And again, the way they run things, like I said, it's a collaboration. It's a well run, and they really take care of their staff. And like I said, the vision and the focus is really about providing legendary customer service and hospitality. to our guests, and that would include both of you and everybody else in the poker community. So again, I'm just super excited with this journey and joining the Commerce Casino, and just looking forward to these great events and just everything as a whole. So
awesome. No, super excited. Everyone in the LA poker community is incredibly excited to have you there, to see what you can bring to Commerce, and to just we can't wait. We can't wait. I can't wait to come back. I never thought at the end of LAPC, I never thought I was going to say this, but I can't wait to come back to Commerce and play. Heck, we can. You can go through when we get to the roundup. You can talk about what dailies are happening this weekend at Commerce yourself.
Yeah, we'd love to.
All right.
Sounds good.
So to kick things off, let's do some results from around LA. And I'm going to kick, this is a very unique thing that I doubt we'll get to do again. But congratulations to a local poker player who went to Phoenix and won a funny car, won his first funny car, Wally.
Nice.
We had Paul on the show, and he talked a bit about his, his car, his car companies, right? His motorsport racing and his funny cars, right? So he and his team won the. I'm not familiar with how it is, but I'm assuming the Wally is a very prestigious race. So they won the Wally in Phoenix. So congratulations to Paul. There's YouTube videos out there. There's lots of articles. He is. He earned it, man. He's been doing this for a while, and they've been having good results. So congratulations. All right. Staying out of LA for now, let's go up to the circuit up in Vegas there, up at the Horseshoe, and we have one Shirley Rosario getting her 4th ring, I believe, here in the Omaha 8 or better World Series Circuit event number 6 up there. Congratulations to Shirley. Just reading her name off. She was getting her weapons sharp down here at the bike, winning something there just last week, I believe. And if you look down the list just a little ways, in 4th place, Kathy Chang.
Yeah.
Kathy Chang. Congratulations, Kathy. 4th place, way to go. And I know she was up there talking with our number 1 field reporter, Frank, who was also at that circuit for a little while. And she was repping the show, wearing the hat at the final table. So way to go.
She was.
Yep. Other notables in this cache here was 9th, Ari Engel, 12th, Alan Kessler. I don't know the other names. I'm sure the mixed game community does, but those are the ones I know.
Yeah, it's weird that Ari Engel played a rig event and didn't win.
I know, right? he final tabled it, though, it looks like, unless they only play 8 or 6-handed. Okay, so let's jump on over to Cavin's results. Let's jump over to the Commerce. So this Friday night bounty, they got the prize pool up to $8,845, and that Friday night bounty, I believe, is a $175 buy-in. It ended in a 5-way chop, so congratulations to Tyson Blackney, who was the chip leader when that chop happened. So congrats, Tyson. All right.
Tyson making a couple final tables this last week.
Oh yeah,
so
nice.
He was on a little bit of a heater, and that's also a $50 knockout bounty, that one too. So yeah,
nice
for every player you knock out, it's $50, and so that's a nice one.
Very cool. And then here's that huge Saturday event you were talking about with the 40K prize pool. 194 entries. I almost came down to this, so it almost had 195, but I had some chores to do around the house, unfortunately. $40,740 prize pool. 2-way chop with Young Han and Bharath Kumar chopping this thing up, with Young getting just over $10,000 and Bharath getting $8,500. So that is quite a nice payday for a $250 buy-in. Way to go, Young and Bharath.
Yeah, that was a great one too, and he had to battle back. Basically Barath, who finished 2nd there, he had to battle back from losing a big stack, or losing some blinds and stuff. Anyway, they both played great, and they battled back, and there you go. They over 8,000 and over 10,000 each, right?
Yeah,
on that one.
Love it.
250 buy-in, and that's every Saturday. Like I said, it was over 40,000. So
yeah, I might have to come and check that out this week. I'm a little disappointed to hear that we're still waiting for action clocks to make it through the process and get there, but that's all right. It's all right. Then the Sunday event, Sunday 10K Guarantee, had 76 entries. I believe this event has an add-on. Is that right? A lot of these tournaments have add-ons?
Yes. Yeah, yep. That one, the Friday doesn't, and the Saturday does not, but Sunday and Monday do. Yep. Yeah.
And this got up to a $14,500 prize pool. Yep. And
that was a 10,000 guarantee. Yeah.
Yep. Beating its guarantee and ending in a 7-way chop with Tungwan Sun taking 1st place in that chop. So congratulations. And then I think we have a picture here of 4 of the other choppers. No, 3 of the other choppers and him. Let's see, what was he wearing?
That's him right there.
Yep, here's
for
him.
Sunday. And then the Monday one, they had a 5-way chop.
Oh, this is the Monday. Okay.
the 4 there.
Gotcha.
So one of the players in the 5-way chop didn't want to be in the picture.
Okay.
But you can see the second one there
Is Mr.
is
George.
is George. Exactly.
George Halou. Yeah, we all know George. George is Mr. Commerce. He is the. If you bring back Player of the Month, he's the. I put my money on George.
Yeah, I think he's won it. I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 times.
Exactly.
Maybe. However, if they had it 6 months, he won it 5. If they had it 10 months, he won it 9. Right. Something
Right.
like that.
Yeah. So put my money on George. He is Commerce.
He is. He's great.
All right. So that wraps up the results we have so far there from Commerce. Now, that is awesome. We're going to be seeing more results from Commerce. Now, in a slight, I don't know who's running the events now down at the Gardens, but I'm very sad that we are basically not going to know anything about them unless one of us goes down there, because without you there, Cavin, it seems that they are currently in sort of a coverage black hole. So it's kind of going to be a mystery what's happening down there without Cavin. So if everyone down there at the Gardens, if you're listening, we would still love to know what's happening. So somebody let us know. Somebody throw out the info. All right. Let's hop over to the bike, where we spent most of our weekend. The big one happening was the 50-50, a new event on their schedule where we start with 50K in chips, and then day 2 was 50-minute levels. Super cool structure, really nice structure. Had pretty much the exact same overall prize pool as the 40-40, which was interesting. And this is the final table. A lot of really familiar faces here, especially if you just try to match the faces with the banners around the wall and whatnot. We have quite a few people who have a lot of success at the bike in here. So the final table of the 50-50 here included Trayland Leuani, Hui Lim, Christina Gollins, Baby Shark, we just talked about her, John Michael Gisler, Corey Brass, who won the Mini Mega before, Alex Farhi, and I feel like we're reading his name off of every big final table lately.
Yep.
Adam Klein, Mark Fiorentino, who is Mr. Double Banner himself, who was in the chat earlier, and Michael Brown. This was the final table, so congrats to the final table. And then final results.
Can I just switch it around on you guys real quick?
Yep.
I want to interview Derek real quick. So Derek, out of how many of those people in the final table were at your day 2 draw?
Yeah, it was 3 of them, which is kind of insane. It was actually the most ridiculous day 2 table I've ever had. It was. I mean, I felt bad for the 1 or 2 wrecks that were there.
Yeah.
It was just like 7 killers. It was really bad.
Yeah, and then if it wasn't bad enough, once they were through chewing up and spitting out Derek, I got moved to that table and I finished my day there.
Oh
yeah,
It was just like the final destination.
Yeah, I was just sandwiched in between Gollins and Alex. Luckily, Alex was a little short on chips, but man, when I got there, Christina already had a massive stack. Yeah. So it was tough between Christina having all the chips and Corey drawing out on me on the couple hands I played. It was like, ugh. But yep, it was a tough one. All right, so final results. They played it down to 4. Entering the final table, Mark had a massive chip lead, but you know how final tables go. A couple flips later, everything settles out. So this was the final shakeout of that final table, and apparently they played until pretty late, and Corey would not chop until he had the chip lead, and at which case Mark, being nice guy, said, all right, we're good enough, we can stop playing. And I guess Corey really needed that number 1 for some reason, because he fought and pushed for it. And I don't know, I wouldn't have given it to him at that point. I would have went all in the next hand and then offered a chop personally, because it seemed strange, seemed odd. And I played at that table, like I said. I wasn't super impressed with his tableside manner, so I would have just I would have been petty. That's me though. But congratulations to everyone at the table. Congratulations to top 4 who chopped. Christina and Adam both got Christina got 42,000, Adam got 45,000, Mark and Corey got basically the same, $100 difference, roughly 50, 60, looks like $70 difference.
So close.
Apparently it was like a 1 big blind difference in their stacks. Yeah. So congratulations, they each took home over 76,000. So this was a excellent event. The 40-40 is a great event. This 50-50, or Big 4, I think they call it. I hope they continue to run these in their series. It's nice to have a bike series where half of the majors are not quantums, and that first quantum was, I like this new format of quantum. I really do.
Yeah. And I hope that they take this as a signal that you don't need quantums to get these huge prize pools, right? Especially for a 400K guarantee, $400 tournament that got 600K.
Well, that was the
yeah, it's crazy.
Yep, and then this 500. They might want to make some sort of tweak to get this 500 to beat it by more, but it did comfortably beat it. About 600K for each tournament. And then on Sunday they had the $300 super stack, which just like last week, incredibly got over 400 entries, doubled that guarantee, which is why I think that the final ring event that we were just talking about is going to just smash. And it had a prize pool of 102K. I played in this thing. I did okay. I don't know. I didn't get into the money though. It was weird. It was a weird one. I think that. Yeah. All right. So Lamb win, chopped it up five ways, getting the lion's share of the prize money. Congratulations, Lamb. He has been having a pretty good year as well. I believe he final tabled with you, right? Didn't he final table with you? Yep. And then
he finished fourth.
Yep. So very next day, I saw him playing the 100K guarantee the day after that too. So you're really the only one from that final table that was really tired.
What are these guys made out of? Jeez.
These guys, grinders all the way, and also a pretty prolific Gardens player, right, Cavin? So I imagine he's going to be following you,
and
playing up.
Caleb, I see Sean on there. Look at more Lewis as well. Like, look at those guys. Yeah.
Oh, I haven't even looked at this final table yet. I'm glad to see Caleb on there because he knocked me out. So congratulations, top 5. Lamb win, almost 17K. Ahmad Shiraz getting 15.5. Caleb Benton, way to go, man, getting a little over 9,000. Mark Flagel getting 8.5. And then Thomas Villa getting 7,700. That's where the chops end. And then Sean SFYU got 4,000. 7th place was Moore Lewis. 8th place was Jukio Gomez. And 9th place was Dennis Salazar. Caleb knocked me out on a pretty boring hand. I had ace king. He had aces. Some third person limped in, so they had to jam over, or not limped in, but called the 3-bet in between us. So money went in. I was out. I should have known though, because I think in the last year, Caleb's only 3-bet me like 3 times, and I think he's had like aces every single time. So I should have known. It's my fault.
You never should have said that. You should never should have said that on air, because now he's going to be 3-betting you with all sorts of stuff.
I want him to, because I'm not folding ace king, even if I know he always has aces, because he might not. So it's fine.
He might not. Next time.
It's fine. He might not. Yep. Oh, that's great. So congratulations to all of you guys. All right. And the last result I have that I was able to that I noticed this week is up at buddy, another LA former TD around here, Justin Hammer was up at Bay 101 doing the Bay 101 Shooting Star, who, if you remember, last year was won by LA's own Andrew Ostapchenko. This year he almost defended his title. He got 13th this year. So congratulations, wow. Andrew. Winning it last year, getting 13th this year, that's not too shabby.
Yeah, what a run.
All right. So with that, I have one last thing before we hit the roundup, and that is I have not updated the Player of the Year results. I have everything in up through LAPC, because those are all in Hendon. But as I mentioned in the information about it, I'm only doing updates when results hit Hendon, and it has been taking quite a while for the results from the bike to get into Hendon. Now, the bike has been posting their results here, and they're up, and eventually they will make their way into Hendon. Now, I have no verification of this, but Jeff and whoever posts these things, I just have a little advice that might help if you aren't going to post them and hit up Hendon directly. This is the way the results look. This is your win here, and they look beautiful, right? Looks very pretty. I know from experience, because the reason I'm only going from Hendon is because in order to minimize work for myself, I need the results to be very reliable and standard, in that when I do something like cut and paste them like this, or go and look at source and pull it, I'm going to get them in just this exact order. One line is first, one line is second, one line is third. There's going to be a tab or a space or a comma between them. Basically like Excel format, right? That way I can just grab everything, cut and paste, put it into my script, put it into my tool, paste it into an Excel sheet, and I can go, right? These results, you cannot do that, because as you see, I'm trying to highlight and I'm getting both rows, and they almost always do it this way, but every time they post results, they're in a format where I can't just cut and paste the whole thing and then have it in a Excel sheet correctly. It's going to take some manual labor, which means that I need to create a custom script, hire an intern to do things by hand. And that may, like I say, I have no confirmation, but as someone who tried to pull the data from your sheets before, that might be why it's slower. Because if I'm the Hendon Mob and I sit down to pull in 400 results from the day from various sites and casinos, and I can't do yours by doing a quick cut and paste, no, I'm not doing yours today. So just a tip. That's my advice. Do it in a single column. Make it really easy to cut and paste into a spreadsheet, into an Excel sheet. That might help, because it would have helped me, so it might have helped them. I don't know. Just saying. Otherwise, do whatever Cavin did. Cavin, do you have any advice for them? Because your results always go up really quick, and the LAPC results started going up pretty quick too. So, just saying.
I have a way of doing it, and want to have a list to make sure that we continue to do it that way as we move forward. So,
all right. Trade secret. I get it. Trade secret. My advice is make it very easy for the person pulling it in to do without doing much work. That's my advice. All right.
Yeah, professional courtesy wise, I mean, you send it in to Hendon Mob and you follow up if it's not uploaded, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
that part should be easy too, right?
Yeah.
All right.
I also think the bike results are like roughly like
I
think the bike results are roughly like a week and a half behind too or something. So maybe we can get them up a little bit faster. But I've actually emailed Hendon Mob myself to ask them to update the bike results.
Yeah. Yep. So just some tips, let's say. Okay. So it's roundup time. So Cavin, we have the little soundbite, that one that we always run. So I just like to jump into it and make it fun. All right, so let's start at the bike, and then we'll head over to Commerce. So I'll start at the bike. This week is Mini Mega Millions week at the bike. The only thing happening all week over there are day one flights for the Mini Mega Millions at 11 and 4 is the $400 buy-in ones, and at 2 p.m. is the $200 buy-in ones. I will scroll down and get the structure sheets on those in a minute, but I'm sure the $400 buy-in ones qualify twice a percentage of people as the $200 ones. There are mega satellites happening every night as well at 8 p.m., and those can be good values for the ones that have guarantees. Let's see, do any of them have guaranteed seats? I do not see any guaranteed seats this time. Before they did that, and they overlaid a lot on like the Thursday and Friday ones, so I don't see that this time. I think they maybe decided not to overlay this time. So those
there's 5 seats on the Saturday one.
The Saturday one? Let me see. Saturday. Okay. Well, it must be on the structure itself because I don't see it. On the right. I see. Yeah, so that Saturday one might be a good value. There's a chance it overlays because everyone's playing the regular flights, so sometimes they do. Although I think the Friday ones are the ones that are overlaying. And there's also a Sunday satellite at night.
5 seats.
Yep. So that one of those could. You never know. So those are going on all week. There are day one flights all the way through the first day 2. Which is it's on Sunday, right? Sunday's the first day.
Sunday.
Too?
Yeah, Sunday day 2A.
Yep. So the first day 2 is on Sunday, and that has a $1,400 buy-in, and they still have day 1 flights happening that day at 11 and 4. So that is Sunday, and then Monday will be the second day 1, the day 2B. And then they will continue on day 3 on Tuesday. So that is why I may be coming down to Commerce on Saturday, because I might not be interested in taking those days off. But into next week, they will have some mixed games. They have a seniors event on Tuesday as well. And then the Park West Classic will begin next Thursday. So that is what's happening at the bike this week, guys. And that's definitely where you'll see Derek. I may or may not fire some of those. Haven't decided yet. But if I don't, you will see me over at the Commerce. So Cavin, you want to go through any changes or any highlights on the Commerce dailies?
So the Commerce dailies. If you're bringing that up.
Yep, there it is. It'll pop up in a second.
Okay. Yeah. So obviously, if you go like Monday through Thursday, right? Start from the top there. I think Monday through Thursday. Mm-hmm. These are daily events because every single day we have an event, right? So Monday through Thursday, it's we've been averaging about just a little over 5,000 on the prize pools on those. So you can get down there. You have until about 7:45 to get down for registration on that. So those are 130 buy-ins, and again, like I said, prize pools have been averaging over 5,000 on that. And then of course Friday night, we're getting, like we said, around 8,000 on those, and those are the bounty, 175 buy-in. And then of course the gem, right? The event that We expect everybody, and Derek, you're probably going to end up at the Commerce on Saturday anyway, because it's a 250 buy-in, 50,000 starting chips. Starts at 1 o'clock, and again, it's 30-minute levels for the first 8, and it goes to 25. I know you guys prefer 25 and then 30, but the point is that level 1, it starts off meaningful, 100, 200, big blind ante, and it never gets to the switches to a turbo because the 25, right? You still get the time to play. And like I said, yeah, the prize pools have been juicy. Last week it was over 40,000, and first place was over 12,000. And you get to hang out with the crew, and the team down there at the Commerce, and we can take some pictures and all that kind of stuff. So that one is every Saturday, and then of course Sunday it's a 10,000. But like I said, last week prize pool was over 14, and Sunday is a little like a Saturday in the fact that it's a 150 buy-in with 25,000 chips, and with the one optional add-on, you actually get your stack up to 50,000. So instead of paying 250 at the beginning and just getting to 50,000 on Sunday, you have the dream of just paying 150, even though you're probably going to do the add-on, right? So you end up paying 250 to get 50,000 chips. Of course, you can use it as an add-on or a rebuy, which means you can do it right when you sit down. If you get felted, you can do it. Or of course, the dream is you never do it because you just keep stacking chips, right? And you're like, oh, come on, man!
Yeah.
I've got
I like to use it. I like to use it as a rebuy myself. Yeah.
So yeah. I mean, it's great as far as that goes daily, and of course, again, the plan is we'll be making announcements and making little tweaks here and there, and making announcements regarding the daily structures. But right now, like I said, we're that Saturday one. I do appreciate you coming down this Saturday, Ty, and we'll see if Derek joins us.
Yeah. Yep.
I'll definitely be there. I'll be there
All
on
right.
Saturday and Sunday for sure. So.
Excellent. And
it's okay to come 2 days.
And we've pointed this out before, but I just want to point out again to everybody that the rake structure at the Commerce dailies is really nice. Like the Gardens had good rake, and the Commerce had good rake for their dailies, good percentage. Because a lot of times, especially in the series, we would bring these things up. We'll say it's a 250 with $50 rake. That's insane, and it really kind of is when you think about percentages. But this 250 has $40 rake, so not nearly as bad. And then when you look at these other tournaments, the ones with the add-ons, when you put the add-on in there, they have a really nice structure as well. I mean, if you look at this 150, Cavin said really if you just do the add-on right away, it's kind of the same with the 250 buy-in. But if you think of it that way, it actually has a lower rake than that 40. It's a $35 rake if you think of it that way, which is really cool because it's 120 and 30 going to the rake, which is very low for a 150. But then the add-on is 95 and 5, so that only gets you to 35. So it's really these are good percentages. Only paying $35 in rake for this tournament, only paying $40 for that. That's pretty good as far as comparative to other venues and for what you're getting. This is really good, guys.
Yeah, and appreciate you mentioning that. And like I said, when you come there, you're going to get a world-class event as well.
Yep.
So we're treating all of our dailies as if it was a series event, right? So we're going to put we're going to be there. We're going to be attentive to the players. We're going to be there we're going to hold the integrity of the game. And yeah, we're going to try to give you the absolute best structures. Yeah, we know it's a daily, but some of them, maybe like I said, the night ones, nobody wants to be playing on the weeknights, right? Till
Right.
2 or 3 in the morning. So
For
those are a little more faster paced.
Yep.
But Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, you're going to have a little more play, but we're not going to just all of a sudden up that rake on you. So thanks for noticing that. It's something that the Commerce is conscious of, and like I said, it's about taking care of the players as well.
Yep. And that is so important for someone who's grinding dailies and playing a lot of them. You play a lot of volume, the rake should matter a lot more to you than if you play very little volume. So, all right. Hopping over to Hollywood Park this weekend, they have a couple outlier tournaments. So this Friday, they've got their regular 20K bounty, and Saturday, Sunday kind of normal. But then Monday, the 31st, they're having a Cesar Chavez Day big bounty event, 50K guarantee. That's a $40 or a $400 buy-in with big bounties. I don't see a structure sheet, but I assume big bounty means in the money bounty. So I would assume you're looking at $500 bounties or something for that, but it's probably in that neighborhood. So very cool things happening there. jumping over to Lucky Lady, it looks like I don't see any special events listed on their website. They still have their Big O tournament happening on Tuesdays at 3, and then they have their regular schedule here. I did, however, see something here. It looks like Sean Yu has been working with, we just mentioned him a minute ago for our last week's Final Table for the one day. It looks like Sean's been working with them on mixed games. They've been trying to spread, and he's been hosting or running a fixed limit mixed game cash game there, and he's been tweaking this mixed game tournament that they've been doing over there. So he has on his Twitter page here that there's a $300 boss mixed tournament, and that boss event is where is it listed? I thought he had the games in here. All right, I saw it before, I don't see it now, but there it is. Big O, Omaha High, Stud, and Stud 8 mixed tournament, and that's $300 buy-in, $25K in chips, starting at 11 on Sundays. So if you're looking to get in the mixed game streets, this could be a really good way. $300 is pretty cheap. It's a mixed game, four different games, and it looks like 2 of them are split pot games, so you should get a lot of play here. So very cool. All right, that is all we have for you this week. So thank you once again, Cavin. It's always a pleasure having you on. It was super fun.
Yeah, man.
Hope we didn't put you to the fire too much. We know you just got there. We just wanted to hear anything you knew, and we just want to share our excitement. And, all of these questions, it just means that we are absolutely, for the first time, we have hope. So we are just throwing it all at you at once.
Again, I appreciate you guys having me on. I really want to shout out everybody in the chat again, Sam, Brad, Jeremy, Frank. Just so many people there, right? I don't want to miss anybody. So, if I start going through it, I know, but, Adam, Mark, everybody that was in there, obviously Cindy and so on, Vic. But appreciate everybody in the chat. And, the number one thing I'd like to, say again is thank both of you guys for, obviously having this voice in this community. And, it's all about growing the game, right? Always about getting new players and growing the game. So Ty and Derek, a big appreciation for you guys as well. And again, having questions and things like that is always good, right? You can always, DM me or this, that, and the other on that. And what I'd like to say before we leave too is I'd like to invite everybody that's listening down to the Commerce Casino. And when you do come in, say hi. Like to get to know you. And I'm inviting everybody back to the Commerce Casino that hasn't been there in a while. And if you've never been, obviously I'm inviting you for the first time. So I would love to see it. Let me know, who you are, how long you've been playing. Always like to hear the stories, get to know you. And if you have questions about just, the casino in general, like, just where's the player card? What about hotels? Just anything regarding it and anything in LA. I'm born and raised in LA, so I can tell you a lot of different places on where to go and where to stop, what kind of beaches, what you like, what kind of food, just all those kinds of things. But if you want action and you want legendary customer service and hospitality, come on down to the Commerce Casino.
That's awesome, Cavin.
That is fantastic, and I will be there. Almost certainly coming this Saturday, and I'll see if I can drag Derek with me.
Again, I plan on seeing you both this Saturday.
All right, guys. All right. Well, thank you so much. Thank you all for joining in and listening. It was a long one, but we had a lot to cover, and Cavin's always great with sharing the info and the knowledge and sharing the love. So thanks for tuning in. If you haven't, hit that like button, hit that subscribe. We have Cavin's social medias in the description. If you're not following him, make sure you do. Make sure you go follow us. Make sure you follow Commerce, and make sure you get out to see him and make your plans for the circuit. All right. And as for us, we will see you at the tables this weekend, guys.
Get the tables, everyone.
See you at the